Welcome to Innovation Explorers. Experience the captivating realm of innovation, design, science, and technology. What's next in space? In 2023, we'll return to the moon once more. A reinvigorated US attempt to send people back to the moon later this decade has sparked a number of uncrewed landings in the coming 12 months. Private space firms and government organizations are planning to travel the 240,000 miles to our neighboring planet, where they will test landing techniques and seek water ice that may be used as drinking water, among other things. According to Jill Stewart, a space policy expert from the London School of Economics in the UK, previous years were all about Mars. We've switched back to the moon now. However, 2023 holds more surprises for us. Significant advancements are also expected to be made in private human spaceflight, including the first commercial spacewalk, compelling missions to and from distant solar system locations, and new rockets that are about to launch. Here are the space-related plans for the upcoming year. Traveling in private space. Since May 2020, SpaceX has been utilizing its Crew Dragon spaceship to transport astronauts to space, some under contract with NASA and others on private missions. However, SpaceX's Polaris Dawn mission, which is presently scheduled for March 2023, will be a significant step forward. 4 commercial astronauts will attempt to reach a maximum orbit of 1,200 kilometers, which is higher than any human ship since the Apollo missions. The billionaire Jared Isaacman, who is funding the voyage as well as SpaceX's first all-private human spaceflight in 2021, will be one of the 4 commercial astronauts. Additionally, the crew will don spacesuits and leave the spacecraft in a first for commercial human spaceflight. In 2023, 2 NASA flights as well as 2 additional private missions using Crew Dragon, Axiom 2 and Axiom 3 are scheduled to arrive at the International Space Station. Following numerous delays, a competing spacecraft from the US company Boeing is also scheduled to launch with the crew for the first time in April 2023. We are currently waiting to see if Blue Origin, owned by Jeff Bezos, will be permitted to launch humans once more. Following a failed unmanned launch in September 2022, the firm has been halted. Virgin Galactic, another forerunner in private spaceflight, has remained rather silent ever since it sent its founder Sir Richard Branson into space in July 2021. All these advancements in commercial human spaceflight may be eclipsed by SpaceX's enormous and reusable Starship rocket's initial orbital flight attempt, which is scheduled to launch in 2023, if not by the end of 2022. And was undergoing launchpad testing earlier this month. The rocket might revolutionize space travel if it is successful and surpasses NASA's Space Launch System as the largest rocket to reach orbit. The ability to take more mass up opens up new opportunities, asserts Uma Brugman, a specialist in space strategy at the Aerospace Corporation. Human expeditions to Mars or other planets may fall under this category one day. However, there is still a long way to go. It's unquestionably a crucial year for Starship, according to Cowart. One of its nearer-term objectives will be moon preparation. NASA's elected Starship's upper stage as the initial lunar lander for the Artemis program. They've got a lot to do. Into the solar system. The largest planet's moons are another topic for discussion in 2019. JUICE, or the Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, will be launched by the European Space Agency ESA in April 2023 and will perform in-depth studies of the Jovian moons Ganymede, Callisto, and Europa, all of which are thought to contain oceans that could support life beneath their icy surfaces. Another significant TSA mission, the Euclid telescope, which was transferred from a Russian rocket to a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, is set to launch later in 2023. To learn more about dark matter and dark energy in the cosmos, the telescope will see billions of galaxies across a third of the sky as it explores the dark universe. When Psyche finally sets off in October after a 2022 delay, NASA should conduct a big science mission of its own. The asteroid 16 Psyche is a strange, metal-rich object that has never been observed up close. The spaceship will travel there. In 2023, a lot of other fascinating breakthroughs are anticipated. Bennu fragments, which NASA's OSIRIS-REx spacecraft will bring back to Earth in September, may shed new light on the composition and development of the solar system. Early in 2023, Amazon plans to launch the first satellites for Project Kuiper, the first of 3,000 satellites that it thinks will compete with SpaceX's Starlink constellation. And a number of new rockets are scheduled to launch, including Blue Origin's massive New Glenn rocket and the United Launch Alliance's Vulcan Centaur rocket, which will carry the moon lander of Astrobotic as well as several satellites owned by Amazon. Both are heavy-lift rockets capable of launching a large number of satellites. Moon landings. By the start of 2023, a lunar lander will already be in motion. The private spacecraft Hakuto, developed by the Japanese company Space, was launched in December on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. It is currently on a 4-month voyage to the moon, where it will, among other things, install rovers made by the space agencies of Japan and the United Arab Emirates. In March, Hakuto, if it is successful, could make history by landing on the moon for the first time. The reason we say could is because 2 U.S. private landers, named Peregrine and Novasi, respectively, from the companies Astrobotic and Intuitive Machines, are also scheduled to arrive at the moon around the same time. Both missions are supported by NASA and carry a variety of equipment to research the lunar environment. They are both a part of the agency's Business Lunar Payload Services program, which intends to increase business interest in the moon before human missions that are scheduled to launch later this decade under the Artemis program. In November 2022, NASA's massive new Space Launch System rocket launched the unmanned Orion spacecraft for the Artemis I program's first mission to the moon. Even though the crewed journey around the moon for the following Artemis mission isn't scheduled to launch until 2024, the following 12 months will create the basis for that mission by, among other things, examining the moon's surface and even searching for water ice that might serve as a future human mission's target. According to John Cowart, a former NASA human spaceflight manager who is currently employed at the Aerospace Corporation in the US, the moon is getting a lot more attention than it has done for many years. A second lunar landing by Intuitive Machines is scheduled for 2023. Landings by the Japanese and Indian space organizations, using the Slim Smart lander for investigating Moon and Chandrayaan-3, respectively, are also recorded. In August 2023, India plans to launch. The first attempt, which ended in a lunar crash in 2019, will be the nation's second. There is currently no scheduled launch date for SLIM, which will test lunar precision landing. With the Luna 25 lander, Russia is set to have plans to send a mission to the moon in 2023, though it's unclear how things stand right now.